Hey, what's up everybody? The Amazing here bringing you a video. This one's going to be a little different because this diorama is so unique in size. Is that I'm bringing you a review from Oggy's Dios, talking about a loading dock diorama that I got from him. So you may see a little bit of my arms in this one, maybe even my face. But let's get started. I want to start by showing you guys how wide this is. It is actually bigger than my desk that I had to lay out the setup to a point to where it stretched long enough and reached high enough. So this is pretty dope. As you can see a little bit of sides of what I got going on with some figures and things like that. But what's really cool is that it's magnetized, it's modular, it's a loading dock that actually carries things for figures. And as you can see, Kamen Cougar is there for reference, so you can see just how tiny he is inside of it. It's really dope. You see my lights and everything, my setup. But more importantly, you see that you have a wide range of entirety here. So you can actually see what's going on. These are for vehicles, actually. So I put the hydrant here, but it can be placed pretty much anywhere. There's some loading dock cones. There's even a shipping crate. So I'm gonna place a couple vehicles so you can see the size reference for it and see how dope it is. So real quick, we have my Punisher van, which was created by Weapon X03. You can see that it actually sits on there just fine in the loading dock. It actually sits really well. Then next up, we're gonna have a truck, a loading truck, which basically can carry other figures and vehicles. And as you can see, size-wise, it fits it just fine. So as you can see, it can load up those vehicles pretty well, to the point where you still have room to climb up the loading steps and still get around and do other stuff. Now, as far as range, you actually get a lot of range out of this. You get a lot of ideas. You can do the stuff like from the Bendis New Avengers run, where they had the Hydra Secret loading dock base. It's pretty dope. I'm gonna get a little in depth, but I'm gonna take break in between, so you'll see it fade out. But one thing I want to talk about is actually there's a side gate that you could actually put here for preference. So you can actually put it in the front. Let's say you wanted to do the whole gated community and you're trying to sneak in, or you want to leave it to the side so to point to where you can show it off and make it look like this is the end of the loading dock gate. So it's pretty cool. There's a lot going on here. So like I said, I'm going to take a break, load it in between, and show you guys what's going on. So now that I can get a little closer, get a little bit more in depth, we can talk about a bunch of things. We can talk about this lovely hydrant full of detail that Oggy painted up, sculpted up. It's really nice. I'm not sure if he 3D printed it or if he actually made it himself or if he just painted one from something else previously, but it is really nice. He also gave me some pallets. And if you ever worked a convention or worked on a construction yard, you would know that pallets are seen in almost every loading dock of every sort of kind. These are really nice, really well painted. It has the wear and tear of pallets being used constantly. It even feels and sounds like pallets being dropped. Next up, I want to talk about, Oggy gave me two types of steps, because Oggy did a lot of research and he talked about how he was wanted to make sure that I had variety with my stuff, and it's really cool. So he gave me one with and without rails. So as you can see, there's a cautionary yellow line to show you where you're stepping, to make sure you don't overstep boundaries. This you can actually see in a lot of New York meatpacking district loading docks. So Oggy definitely did his research. And then you have one where there is wear and tear here on these old worn steps with the rusted railing. It's actually really dope. I like this a lot. I actually use this a lot. I gotta throw somebody down it eventually. And as you can see, it pairs right off to the side like a real loading dock. It's excellent. One thing I want to rotate on is I'm going to lift and rotate. As you can see that it says New York City Sewer. Or, yeah, New York City Sewer. But Oggy was cool enough to throw in something a little extra cool. So if you want, you can actually lift it up. And you can have it go down into something else. I just have another dial piece under it. But he also gave me a swappable one that has my name that says D Amazing. So Oggy, thank you so much for that. You basically personalized this dial for me, and that means a lot to me. So I want to say thank you for that. Next up, I want to talk about the railing. Not the railing, sorry. The doorway and the light under it. So this one can be a little tricky, so bear with me as I talk about it. This one is actually made of all sorts of wood and cool things. So it's really cool. But one thing I want to talk about, I want to remove Cougar, is that this is actually movable. So as you can see here, I can actually open and close this to the point where it's really nice. But even behind it, let's say I wanted to open up even behind it. So you can actually do a bunch of stuff with that. So you can do perspective. You can do the enemy coming in and out. You can actually do loading. So this is really dope. I like this a whole bunch. It gives it a lot of personality. Another thing I want to talk about is you can actually remove this. So let me be careful because it's actually quite heavy. So he made it so that with the top piece, there is a light under here. So let me cut these off. I want to make sure you guys can see this. But I got to remember where the switch is. Give me 1 sec as I remember where the switch is. So Oggy made it so that I can have lighting under it. So as you can see, it lights up. So that's really fucking dope. Oh, excuse my language, but see, off, on, off, on. So if you want to do some sort of lighting under it, it can be done. You probably won't see it as much here unless I cut off absolutely all my lights, but that's a lot of work. But the lighting is under there and it's really dope. So big fan of that. Lastly, I'm talking about what he did on the back side of it to make it even more personalized, so you can actually do a little bit more. And that for that, I have to go up. Actually, I have to go up top. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rotate it all the way up to the point where you guys can see it. So I'm gonna do that in a second. I'm gonna fade out a bit. So last but not least, I want to talk about the top. And sorry I had to break up this video, but I didn't want you guys to see me fumbling and messing up things in between. I wanted to be as clean and neat as possible with my terrible, terrible editing skills. So yeah. So Oggy gave me working windows, which I know it doesn't seem like much, but you have to understand the mechanics and the engineering behind this is really dope. Is because for you to get windows that actually like function is really dope. So they can go up, they can go down. They can both windows can actually open up either way. So if you want to do characters climbing through windows, oh wow, my windows might be stuck from actual heat exhaustion because it's been hot here in New York City. So just like here, you can actually have stuff that opens up. So as you can see, I'm lifting it up and down, and then the same can be applied here. So just like back home, if you wanted to throw somebody out of the window, you could throw it through the top, or you can lift up both ends and pretty much throw somebody out of the bottom. As you can see here, I have a carb sitting here in the window. He's lifting it up like you would if you're supposed to lift the window up to get out of it. And then as I move it over, Oggy built me a backside for it. So if you wanted to, you can do character's perspective from this end. So I actually have something where I can do it on both ends, which is really dope. So if you want to see the inside of an apartment where it's like nobody has anything in their windows, you can actually do something very creative like that. He even gave me an AC that worked for it as well. So the AC actually fits in. It's really dope. Just gonna drop that back down. One more thing I didn't talk about is that also on the back side, if I'm gonna rotate it down, there is a switch here. This door doesn't move, but there is a switch right here that I'm gonna cut on, and then I'm gonna rotate it around for you guys. And for this is really dope. So let me just take it off of my tripod. I'm gonna take you guys with me. But there is a working light here. Let me make sure my switch and my batteries didn't run out. So there we go. So as you can see, there's a working light there. So Oggy's pretty much thought of everything. So when you're loading, I have a working light. If I don't remember if my door opens or not. My door does not open. So, or does it? I can't remember. Nope, doesn't open. But there is a working light here. So I have 2 working lights on this diorama, and that's why I'm very careful with it. But Oggy pretty much built me a masterpiece that is gigantic to my exact specifications because I didn't really give too much specifications. I let him go free as an artist, and he went wild. Like, look at this texture work. It's really worn and has a real rain wear. I love this. So again, thank you, Oggy. Thank you so much. I can never repay you. You've done wonderful work, and I feel like everyone should have a piece of your art. In the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed this look at this diorama that I've had for a while. Oggy, please forgive me for taking so long to review it. And most of all, I hope you guys do good, be good, drink your water, guys. Later.